Scientific Temper in the series of Making NEP Happen. This is the 7th session. If you can hear us and if you can see the screen, please put it in the chat yes, so that we know you can hear us and you are with us. And I'll stop sharing the screen. Good evening, everybody. People who are saying good evening, and people are saying yes, so they can hear us. Very nice. So to start with, please tell us, where are you joining us from? Your location. Let's check in with our location. I am in New Delhi right now. So where are people joining us from? Okay, another New Delhi, Gurgaon, New Delhi, New Delhi, Chandigarh, Ludhiana, New Delhi. Okay, also now please tell us, so that we know you a little better, because there are so many people here. Tell us, what is your professional role? So what professional role are you serving right now? Oh, there's no professional role coming in here. Vishnu, do you know some people? Okay, TGT, Hindi, research educator, admission counselor, science faculty, facilitator, counselor, teacher. Great. And now I will put a sentence on the screen and I would request you to complete that sentence in the chat. Okay. And the sentence is, today I am feeling. Please share your feeling. I am right now very excited to be with all of you here. So how is everybody feeling? Complete the sentence. Peaceful, great, great, relaxed, enthusiastic, great, awesome. Okay, and enthusiastic and great. And somebody is curious, keen to learn. Very nice. Yes, there is a lot that we will talk about today. Lots to learn today. Feeling wonderful, feeling curious. Very nice. Now, with that note, let me introduce who I have as speakers today. My name is Nikhil Juneja, and today I have with me Vishnu Kant, who's the founder of Propel Curriculum. I also have with me Dr. N. Ram Kumar, who's with Agastya International Foundation, Dr. G.S. Matharu, who's the chairman with Prudence School. And yeah, I spoke about me, Nikhil Juneja, I am a design thinking strategist and a life coach. We are all very excited to be with you today. And we know the topic for today is scientific temper. So what comes to your mind when you think of scientific temper? Why don't you put it in the chat? And then I will have a poll for all of you. So when you hear the word scientific temper, what comes to your mind? Let's hear it in the chat. Okay, it is a way of life, logical thinking, logical, enthusiastic, wonderful, inquiry, logical thinking, seeking reliable resources of evidence, developing logical reasoning, formation of hypotheses, seeking answers. Okay, and there's a question, is temper scientific? Okay, nice. Okay, so many thoughts. Now, and reading all this, I'm feeling more excited of the things that we have planned to share with all of you. And before we actually get into it, I would now like to invite, one second, I'd like to invite Rachna Babbar from Prudence School, Ashok Vihar, to read out the message from Honorable Chairman, Dr. G.S. Matharu. Rachna, can we have you, can you unmute yourself and say hello to everybody here? Rachna, are you there? Can you hear me?
Hello. Vishnu, I think Rachna has not been able to log in yet. I can do the needful. So if you can just do the screen sharing, put his beautiful message on the screen for all of us. I will just do the honors. Yeah.
Yes, please. Here it is.
Yeah. Yeah, so Chairman Sir actually wanted to be a part of this wonderful gathering, but due to certain prior commitments, he's not been able to come here physically. So he sent a beautiful message for each one of us. So I would just read through it for all of us to cherish every moment, every thought that he has put in. So Sir says, dear teachers, warm greetings to you all. I sincerely thank you for your support in these trying times. Despite the constraints, you have stood by your students and parents to give the best in whatever possible way. You have incorporated the most engaging ways to make the virtual teaching and learning process as interesting and as helpful as possible. Keep up the spirit to always give the best to your students. We all have come up so far upholding the values of prudence, and all your hard labor is making prudence stand tall as a powerful brand in the realm of education. However, we must work harder. We want you all to be always better equipped with the latest and the most progressive pedagogies. I also acknowledge with pride, I think you'll have to scroll it up a little. I think I've lost track of this paragraph. I also acknowledge with pride that my teachers are very much in sync with many ways with what is now being. Vishnu, I think you'll have to scroll up a little. Which is now being highlighted.
No, it is, you're on the same page. Okay. It's the first page only.
I was at the paragraph I acknowledge, I think, yes. So you'll have to lift it a little.
Okay, Nikhil, can you just
actually it's there. 1 second, let me see.
Scroll it down, scroll it up. Yeah.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, I can, but I think you'll have to lift it a little. Yes, that's right. So I acknowledge with pride that my teachers are very much in sync in many ways with what is now being highlighted in NEP. Through multiple programs such as project-based learning, art-integrated culminations, to name a few, you have been engaging the children to work independently and also in collaboration to communicate effectively and sharpen all the skills which are essential in this 21st century world. Our curriculum emphasizes on these skills. Each Prudentite develops a modern outlook towards life and evolve rational and scientific temper. I am reiterating a few of them here. The idea of today's webinar is to keep afresh in mind that experiential learning is the way to go in today's world. We don't believe, you'll have to slow down, come down a little more. Yeah, we don't believe in just transferring the factoids of knowledge. The important thing is we help them process the knowledge, the content that they have gained, so that they are equipped well enough to apply it mindfully, critically analyzing and assessing it. We teach our students to find their own answers and not be content with borrowed explanations from internet or the books. We encourage them to argue and debate, ask questions, reason things out, and seek answers. Our focus on academic interactions and the freedom you enjoy empowers you to do your best. This special webinar has been organized by Propel to be further equipped with the changes happening at the national level, particularly with the implementation of NEP 2020. So I welcome Dr. N. Ramakumar and Mr. Vishnukant, with whom you are already acquainted, to share this space here today. I encourage all my teachers and school leaders to use this opportunity here to deepen your knowledge further, ask questions and challenge yourself so that you may lead your classroom to newer heights. Best of luck with your learning. I wish you all a wonderful New Year 2021. I do wish honestly that you get to see the actual classroom situation soon and the warmth of the human touch of the teachers to be in the teaching learning process. I think you'll have to lift it a little for me again. So as we all understand, nothing can replace the face-to-face learning. So I think we all agree to the last sentence that Chairman Sir tells us, that nothing can replace the face-to-face learning. So like we are all connected with technology, seeing each other, talking with each other, but I think the human connect is something that is of the utmost important when it comes to learning and teaching process. So over to Vishnu. Yeah.
Good. Thank you. We're much honored by his thoughts. I'm so glad that, I mean, it is sad. I really wanted him to be there. I met him a couple of days back and he was very excited about it. But all right. Thank you. Over to you, Nikhil. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Pooja. Thank you very much, Vishnu. We also have some names that we wanted to announce.
Nikhil, there are some people I would like to mention. I think you have the names. Do you?
Yes.
Some other. So could you just mention? And I hope those people could just say hi to the teacher community. Nothing makes the teachers happier than to see their own comrades, leaders, being part of them when they are in a learning situation. You have the names, right?
Yes. The first name we have is Nina Niwar, who's the director academic.
Okay. Hi, where are you? Can you say hi wherever you are, Nina?
Hello. Right. I'm trying to unmute myself. Am I audible now?
Yes. Yeah, you're audible. Can you switch on your video?
Yes. Okay. All right.
Your video.
Yes, I have already switched on my video, but okay. I am afraid I'm not able to see myself on the screen. But then I have already, yes.
आप कैमरा को turn करो. I think that is what it is.
Okay. I didn't realize it that I had put this.
There you are. See?
Hello.
You've been hiding.
Hello to everyone. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be in this kind of space together. I'm very keen to learn. And I think scientific temperament means not accepting things blindfolded, right? Logic, yes. So I think we all are very keen to learn today.
All right. Yeah.
Thank you. We have is Pooja Gakkar, who's the head operations.
Yeah, she was the one who was reading it. She's okay.
So once again, good evening, everybody. I think I have used Chairman Sir's thoughts to convey my thoughts. So I think I need not go ahead with anything new or more. So we can go on to the next person, please.
The next we have is Charu Sharma, who's Director Audit.
Right. So where is Charu? Okay. All right.
Charu, unmute yourself.
Unmute. Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I'm just back from school at home, and welcome all of you on the same page. This webinar, I'm sure that it would be very helpful for all of us to understand the national education policy which has been introduced. And I'm sure Sir would be giving us great details in enhancing the scientific temper in all the students out there in our classes. Welcome all of you, and hello everyone. Let's have a new beginning.
Great, thank you, Charu. The next we have is Rachna Narang, who is VP AV.
Okay, VP Ashok Vihar. Yeah, where is she? Oh, she was the one who could not join.
Vishnu, right. I think you will have to come to help the Ashok Vihar team. They are finding some kind of a difficulty in logging in. I have 3 to 5 people connecting with me that they are unable to log in. So I think you'll have to designate somebody to speak with Rachna so that they can help them out. So either Angie could do it or somebody.
I'll ask Pooja already done that. I've sent Ritika the person's number.
Yeah, but that's not being of much help. I think that process has not worked, Angie, so you'll have to jump into the situation now.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so we can go ahead, please. Yeah.
Okay. We have Ruhi from Ashok Vihar.
Yeah, few of them have been able to, but majority have not been able to join in. So I think Angie can look into the matter. We can continue, please. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So do we have Rachna Narang here? Please say hello to us.
She could not join.
No, she's the same one, the vice. Yeah.
He's the one from Ashok.
Okay, the next is Shipra Sharma.
Yeah,
Hi.
Shipra, I can see. Hi.
Great.
Good evening, Vishnu and Nikhil and other members. It's always exciting and very interesting to look forward to what training session Vishnu has always created. Always enriching and always very exciting in their own academic term. Thank you. Looking
Thank you.
forward.
Thank you, Shipra.
And I'm
Next
happy
we
to
have
see you
is
here.
Ritesh, who's the principal. Ritesh, are you with us?
Yeah, I am a little skeptical of Sir also joining in, so maybe he has yet not logged in.
All right. Okay.
Okay, because he was not very clear of his commitment today. So okay, we can move ahead.
Great. And the last name we have is Smriti Nanda.
They seem to have a lot of cookies, so it's the reason it is asking them to register again is because of the cookies. So I'm asking them to restart. Once they restart, there's no problem. The people are able to log in. So
Okay.
whoever is calling me, I'm asking them to restart and then again click on the link.
Okay. Okay. So Pooja, this was
How to clear his
yeah.
screen and then come back. I was not sure, so I'm just telling him to restart.
All right. So this is the technology head who spoke just now, Pradeep. So he'll take care whatever is possible. He is very well equipped with technology. All right. Thanks a lot. Yeah, Nikhil.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think
And there
Pooja,
are many good people.
there's some cookies issue happening on the
Yeah, I
system.
just heard
So
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think they just
Okay.
do.
So they'll take
Yeah.
care. All right. I
Okay.
just want to share. I just want to say that each one of these teachers are the real comrades for us, and each one is very important. It just unfortunately never possible to name everybody and acknowledge, but I am acknowledging everybody's presence here, and extremely happy after such a difficult times with COVID and so on to see you. I'm really thrilled to see all of you here, and I'm hoping that as mm, as Chairman Sir's words go, face to face is the so we are hoping, looking forward to that happening soon. All right, yeah, Nikhil, thank you. I think we should move forward.
Yes, great. Thank you very much. And once again, welcome everybody. Now we have a poll coming in your way to set the context for the day. Are you all ready to put in the poll? The poll will be there only for about 20 seconds on your screen. So I'll just put it there and I will read out the poll. 1 second. So the poll is here. The poll is, what do you think about what does scientific temper mean? Option 1, memorizing the knowledge given in the books written by scientists. Option 2, believing what teachers and elders tell us from their experience. Option 3, being curious, asking questions, exploring to seek out answers. Option 4 is loving every living being and caring for one and all. And the last option is mastering the subject science. Another 15 seconds for the poll to be there. People have already started answering. About 50% people have answered. We have a total of 146 right now. Okay. 8 seconds more. 65% people have answered. Oh, some people are putting it in the chat. I'd request everybody to please put the answer on the poll and not the chat right now. About 70% people have answered. Let's wait for 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. And 80% people have answered. We'll end the poll here, and the result is here on your screen. Great. So yeah, we have the majority answering option 3. Now I request Vishnu to please come on the stage and help us debrief the poll.
All right. So thank you, everybody. That was expected. You know, prudence teachers are smart. Okay, so there isn't this particular one was also simpler, I have to say. Okay, I didn't want to make it so difficult.
Vishnu, in
But
fact,
more-
we are not smart, we are evolved. So let's use a better term, it makes us feel more related. Huh?
All right, so you're evolved. Okay, so although I actually meant smart in sense of evolved only, not in the foxy sense of being chalu, but being intelligent and being thoughtful. But yeah, thank you. The puja adds a lot of value to my, I mean, the work that we do, but also in a very personal life. She's one of those who, when I see around, I have to be extra alert. And that is a big thing, okay? That's a good thing. It's a big compliment, Pooja. It's a big compliment. Okay, so so what we are going to do today, so let me just quickly tell you how I'm seeing the next 1 hour plus time, is that we are going to look at actually, so scientific temper is not something which is completely new in that sense. Especially the curriculum that you have been using for quite a few years is based on that, based on the solid scientific inquiry approach. And this is not about teaching science, it's about this approach to learning. So that is something that you already, you've been doing it. However, there is nothing really like a full stop to learning. We keep going. What is happening and what I'm very happy about is that NEP 2020, which is supposed to be, you know, many notches higher than what previous generations of NEPs and have been, is again emphasizing a lot more experiential learning. And scientific temper has been mentioned again, although scientific temper has been used for, I mean, ever since we attained freedom. Nehru talked about it. In fact, Dr. Ram Kumar Rao, who is with us, is going to give you a little bit of background of, in fact, his research thesis was based on scientific thinking in his PhD long back. He's going to give us a little more information on how actually the whole thing evolved. Okay, how the scientific thinking evolved as such. The notion of scientific temper. Are we a society which is full of scientific temper? Definitely not. By any stretch of imagination, we are not close to it anywhere. Okay, but that is not surprising, because even very so-called developed societies are also, they are not, you know, in totality, they don't have scientific temper. And you will see some evidences of it today when he talks about it. We have a video for you to show, to actually, where Professor Yashpal is talking about how scientific temper is, you know, even evolved or developed societies struggle it. There are a whole lot of different kinds of superstitions or unscientific thinking that happens. Yeah. So what I want to basically talk about is that we don't realize that we are actually consuming things which are not really scientific in nature. Okay, so I'm just going to share something and then possibly help you see how to go through, you know, separate, or what we call sift, this kind of superstitious or unscientific thinking from scientific thinking, so that we can live happier and freer life. Eventually, the scientific thinking or scientific temper is connecting from temperament, but basically the mindset. Okay, so it's not emotional temper in that sense, but it is having a temperament of doing something, or having a temperament of a certain kind, is what is talking about. It's an outlook, it's an approach. Okay, and many of you have actually mentioned in your chat, when Nikhil asked what do you think is scientific temper, you have talked about reasoning, experience based, logical, and so on. So here is one. So this is interesting. I want to just quote a message my daughter shared a couple of days back, which is very interesting, and it just it just got me to think, where does it come from? So here is a message. It says, new type of cybercrime. Fraudsters are calling and asking for COVID-19 vaccine registration. They ask us for Aadhaar, email ID, etc. Subsequently, to authenticate Aadhaar, they ask for OTP. The moment you give your OTP to them, the money that your bank account, which is connected to Aadhaar, that is siphoned off. The money goes, they take it away. Now, the thing is that this is fairly simple, right? And still people make this because that is how these people survive. Otherwise, they would not be in the market. So we know that no bank will ask for OTP. And yet, when something like this happens, we quickly do it. And that is the whole point, that are we alert? Do we really think about this? So it's very important when some action is being asked, when you're talking about, somebody is saying something, do we keep our reason, okay, our antenna for reasoning, okay, the unscientific detector, okay, the detector which is constantly looking for, things which are mythical, which are fictional, so that we get to know that, okay, this is not making sense, and let me not rush to it. And that is the important part, okay? So there's just one example that I wanted to give you. I do want to mention that in recent times, there have been a lot of this happening, okay? It is sad, but a whole lot of things, the notions that are being spread about cows, cow dung, cow urine, desi cow, foreign cow, and how there's absolutely no research base for this, okay? And that is what you need to be asking, and we will come to that later. That a whole lot of myth is being propagated because somebody makes some connection, it just being thrown at you. So we have to be very, very clear. So here is the latest one that I want to share before I move on to Nikhil's next question, and that's very important. That why is it that happens? So Lakshmi bomb, kitne logon ne dekha hai? Yeah, okay. So who can tell me what is what is happening? What strikes you about this guy who is a rationalist in his first life? First life means when he's, Akshay Kumar comes out. What happens then? Okay. He is exploding myth, these Jadoo Tona and these fellows are, whole lot of them, they are spreading. He goes around and actually bursts the myth कि ऑरेंज काटते हैं या जो भी दीवार पे लिखता है तो लाल हो जाता है, खून है ये. What is happening? That is the interesting part. The picture is visualized in such a way and that he himself gets victimized by what you would generally call is total myth, right? The ghost, the idea of a spirit after the death. Now, that is what is the most, I think it's important, struck me, कि जो आवाज उठाएगा उसी को victimize करते हैं. Now, that is exactly what the movie is talking about, okay? Whether you take it in that way or not, it's a separate matter. But what seems to me that when somebody watches this, it actually generates fear, कि अरे यार, question mat karo. If you don't accept, it's okay, but just quickly walk away. Don't question the myth, don't question the superstition, don't question a thought, something that is not making sense. So that is the seriousness of this, so there are a whole lot of lobbies of people in societies, and this is something that Dr. Ramkumar will take us how in history things have been there, okay? People were killed for saying something. Who was the scientist who was brutally assaulted for saying that the earth moves around the sun, right? Who was it? Copernicus? Does anybody remember? Ram? Hello? Galileo. All right. Okay. So Nina is saying Galileo. Thank you, Nina. So was it Galileo?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Galileo, I don't know, was he killed or was he just subjected to harassment by the church at that time? Because the church believed that in our experience, it is the sun that goes around the earth. Okay. So people have been subjected to different levels of tortures, harassments, punishments by society at large whenever they have differed from the a larger society. Okay. But that may be their choice. But as teachers, it is our responsibility. As teachers, it is something which is at the core of our job, core of our duty to spread reasonable, rational, scientific thinking. That is what our job is. Our job is to not perpetuate superstitions. Our job is to not give children fictions. Fictions as fictions, yes, of course, literature, fiction, yes. But you know that Star Wars heroes are not real. So don't begin telling them that that is so, okay? They are fictional characters and you enjoy them, okay? So you know that and you have to stay with that, all right? Yeah, in Ramayana, there's a whole beautiful story and literature or poem, Pushpak Viman. Yes, it is very beautiful. हम सब ने देखा है, watch किया है Ramayana and those beautiful arrows and shooting, but they are fiction. So don't get them to saying that they are science, because science or scientific facts or principles are based on certain processes, which Dr. Ramkumar will talk about, that how, when we say it is a scientific knowledge, then what does it mean? Okay, what is scientific knowledge? It has to have some conditions, right? You can't simply say it is science. कुछ भी तो science में नहीं चलता है, fiction में चलता है, that is fine, okay? So it's important. So that is what we are going to do. I mean, science is rigorous. I was told by a doctor recently, and I was shocked that somebody in government announced that now Ayurveda Pandits or Shastris or whoever Ayurvedic doctors can also perform surgery. Now, the Indian Medical Association opposed it because surgery cannot be performed by people who have not learned how to do it, right? Just because somebody says, okay, in Ayurveda, there was Sushruta who performed surgery and so on. Sure, he must have done it. But we don't have evidence of that yet. Ayurveda training does not inculcate rigorous surgical process. So therefore, you can't allow them to go and perform surgery. People will die. So there was a whole lot of chaos around it. And then I think it was withdrawn, and I'm glad. Otherwise, it just gets chaotic. So in the name of science, you can't just do anything, right? So that is where we have to teach children to rationalize. That is where we have to teach children to come to reason, okay? So that is one thing that what we are going to talk about today. Yeah, for now, I think, Nikhil, we could probably go to the next point where, yeah.
Yes, Vishnu. So, now listening to you right now, feels like it's such common sense and, the things that you're talking about. And, also a mind that has scientific temper will not accept without understanding and looking at the evidence and critically seeing everything in, every aspect in all events. But then why do you think people become so gullible, and all of this happens?
Yeah, that is true. That is something that has always amused me. Okay, does anybody have an answer to this? हम सब इतने intelligent हैं, इतने बुद्धिमान हैं, but suddenly somebody comes and offers something. Okay, मुझे ये दे दो तो मैं इसका बता दूंगा, horoscope. Why do we so quickly believe? Now this is an interesting thing. Okay, that why is it we are so quick to believe this? All right, whatever we are being said. So does anybody have an answer? I have my thinking that why we tend to believe. I'm looking for For
Yeah,
anybody who'd like to share, why do we believe? Why are we so gullible? Okay, out of fear. Thank you, Anamika. That is a beautiful word. Okay, yeah, put it in the chat box. Why are we so gullible when we know that this is not possible? Why do we so quickly accept it? Yeah, in the chat box, please. Okay, right. Following the masses, conditioning by society. Because we believe in believing, okay, out of fear, very beautifully said, out of fear, societal norms, maybe because we are curious, want to know what happens if we this is a good one. Okay, this is a good one. This is Chalu. Okay, how can you, by believing, see if it happens or not happens. Very, very true. Yeah, you will experiment, right? So that's not believing, that's experimenting. Okay, so that's, somebody put it, and that was really, really cool, huh? Because, so that was Anita, no, wait. That was Nina saying maybe because we are curious and want to know what happens if we believe. So that's not believing, that's experimenting, okay? And I like that very much, okay. Ignorance, lack of awareness.
Yeah.
Pooja, you want to say something? Okay, easy to accept than to explain. Wow. Okay, so Lubhanchi Vahi, wherever she is, my salute to you. This is something that comes very close to my heart. Okay, that we are fundamentally, we are lazy people. Okay, and it's very convenient for me to believe what Rachna says, what Ritu tells me, okay, or what Gauri tells me, or Anshu tells me. Okay, no, this is so, and I'll just quickly, because it's so easy, convenient, okay? So the point is, oh, so Nikhil Juneja is saying elders are right. Yeah, that's an interesting conditioning, right? Fear of being called outcast. Rachel Wilson, very nice. Just to know other options. Oh, Divya Chawla. Okay, so that was Nina kind of answer, that you try it out, you figure it out. Just to get rid of negative situation by, okay. So that is convenience. Just to get out of this difficult situation, because 3 people have asked me and I can't fight with them.
Find out who's that.
Nikhil, can you mute everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that I think the answer has come, all right, okay, that when we believe, when it is convenient for me, okay, so this is something that I would want to deliberate 2 minutes and then we go to the next one, that I believe something quickly, even if it is not making sense, because I am lazy to explore for myself. Fundamentally, that is what it is. Because as a human being who is empowered, equipped with thought, empowered to think freely, I am capable of finding the answer for myself. I am capable of at least applying reason, thinking through it, okay, making connections, finding evidences to support it, experimenting it. But I'm not doing it because it is convenient. I'm being lazy. It suits me. And when I'm saying it suits me, it's not always bad, okay? There are times when I have bigger fights to fight. So I get into smaller things, okay? I mean, if somebody comes and says, okay, it is raining in Kerala, I'm not going to argue with that person. Theek hai, I believe you, it is raining in Kerala. Anyway, it's not going to matter much, all right? So obviously, there are things where it makes sense to accept, but there are things which are very important, especially about learning, about doing things. Then we cannot possibly, just believe blindly. So that's an important thing. One of the things that I have always said, and I told you just now when I was introducing Pooja Arun there, that when she's around, I'm more around. When she's around, I'm more alert. What does that do? When you are alert, who does it help? It helps you only to grow, to think, right? Years ago, probably 10, 15, one school had told me, this is something which you told me, which I'm just telling Pooja that, Vishnu, whenever you are, I can't talk to you for 2 minutes without thinking hard. Now that was, I took it as a big compliment, okay? The point is that when I question things, when I challenge things, I am the one who is learning. My thinking is growing. And you pay a lot of money to send your children to high quality colleges where difficult questions are being asked. So why don't we do that in our regular lives? Why don't we do it why should we not do it in our own classes? Ask questions so that children have a lot of, challenging energy, that the energy that comes from putting them through challenges. So that is an important part. So what is challenged that develops? Okay. What is not challenged? So when you don't challenge religions, they have not developed. Science allowed challenges. Science allowed questioning. So science developed. Okay. And that is the important part. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Vishnu. I think lovely to hear that. And I love the statement when you say what is challenged that develops and what is not deteriorates. This also reminds me of this one saying that's spoken about relationships that, everybody has this need of saying that, accept me the way I am, accept me the way I am. But if I accept you the way you are, then maybe I'm spoiling you. But if I challenge you, and only then is when I can help you grow. So yeah, that's what I was reminded of.
Okay. Gosh. Okay, I'm not recommending you to try it, okay? Because you might end up having a fight with your partner, okay? You don't accept me the way you are, then you don't love me. Now that is a notion of love which we have propagated fairly through all the cinema and Bollywood and probably everything, okay? So do it at your own risk.
Great. So, Vishnu, what do you suggest we go into breakout rooms with some questions and practice that? Some discovery.
Yeah. So I think it would be nice to do a bit of this very interesting thing that we have where we go into groups. Like typically in our labs that we do, you go into a group and you discuss a few things. So, Nikhil, do you want me to introduce the task, or are you going to introduce the task?
Sure. I think so. There are questions. I can just open it on the screen. So everybody here, here is what we will do. We will put you into breakout rooms for about 5-7 minutes. So I think let's do 7 minutes. And there is a question there are 3 questions that we will open on the screen, which you have to discuss with whoever you get in your breakout room. And once you come back, we would like to hear how was your experience of looking through those questions. What are your perceptions on them, and how did you experience even discussing about those questions? So
yeah, so basically, one second. So basically, don't fight, but try and bring consensus. Okay. So if you disagree, it's okay. We don't have that kind of time where we have 2 hours to discuss. If you agree, fine. If you don't, it's okay. But have a conversation for a short while. 1. 2. We had planned to put an observer or a moderator for each group. Is that working, Nikhil? Have we done that?
No.
Okay.
Randomly maybe, but maybe everybody can be their own observer for now.
No, wait. So, no, please. Within the group, decide one person who will kind of note down the final thing, okay? So that that person can share in the chat. That is all, okay? So like a moderator, all right? We had put some names and thought we would make the groups, but something on the technology front kind of went a little, I don't know what happened. What exactly happened? Why did we not form the groups?
Because
it wasn't possible technically to do it like that. That's why.
Before up for so many people.
Okay, let's look at it after, because I was given the impression that it works very well. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead and do it. Thank you.
Okay, so here are the questions on the screen. Maybe you can take a screenshot or make a note of these questions. I will keep it on the screen for about a minute. And meanwhile, I will create the breakout rooms. Okay. All right, so we have about 29 breakout rooms, about 7 participants per breakout room. If you're ready and I can put you into breakout room, please, if you read the question, please put yes, we have read it. Maybe if you're ready, just put ready.
Okay, go ahead.
Great. So here are the breakout rooms. You will get a pop-up and please join the rooms.
Nikhil, make me co-host so that somebody else can join this room.
Sure. Okay, everybody who's still here, please press join room so that you can go into your breakout room. Some people must be waiting for you there. You know, this is where we get to know how many people are listening to us and not listening to us.
Okay, I'm going to join some groups.
Yeah.
Okay, all the people on this screen, there's no discussion happening over here.
Angie, somehow I don't think they're listening to us.
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Nikhil can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Agnes, can you hear me now?
Hello?
I can hear you, Nikhil.
Yeah. I don't know why Agnes cannot hear me.
Nikhil, can we broadcast the text to everyone again? And they have to start discussing. I think in some groups, the discussions have not started yet.
Okay. What do you want me to tell them?
Everyone on this screen, can you turn your videos on? I'd like to see who all are here. Hi, Shruti. Unmute yourself, Shruti.
Yeah, hi Angie.
Hi, Jyoti.
Hello, how are you? I am unable to connect with other members of my group, actually.
Yes, now I can hear people. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, I'm unable to connect with other members.
Well, there are almost 20 members over here. And you can connect here and talk here, right?
Do I need to click somewhere to connect?
No, don't click anywhere. Just be here.
Okay, fine.
So
fine,
you
sure.
remember the three sentences that were there?
Yes, I have taken a picture. In fact, the three sentences, the three statements. And we
Very
have to come
nice,
to the
Shruti.
common consensus.
So
I have
Shruti,
it.
can you take the lead for this group of about 20 people and start the discussion on each of the sentences?
Okay, yes,
Whether-
I can, but somehow people have to unmute now, so then only I can discuss.
Yeah, call out people's name, they'll unmute.
Okay. Okay. Kulpreet ma'am, Deepa ma'am, Mayuri ma'am, Sonam ma'am.
Hello, good evening. I'm Mayuri this side.
Yeah.
Good evening,
Yeah, ma'am.
Mayuri. So nice to hear you. Okay, Nikhil, can you put those questions on the screen right now? I think this group can discuss it right here.
I have the questions with me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Perfect. So can we discuss the first statement?
Yeah, the first statement is some mental illness becomes more acute on no moon Amavasya days.
So discuss this statement and form a consensus on whether you agree or disagree with this statement. What do you think about it?
Okay.
Okay. So in my opinion, I completely disagree with this. Somehow, elderly people have given this notion and given this thought maybe in majority of the people, but I haven't experienced, I haven't seen any kind of situation like this, which could make me believe in this.
Okay. So what is the stand that you're taking?
So I don't disagree with this, that somehow during Amavasya days or no moon days, such kind of mental illness, really takes a next level. And may I have the opinion of other people over here?
Yeah, may I speak?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we had a discussion. We had Akanksha Kulkarni, Anju Kanwar, Divya Chavla, Saroj Nautiyal, and Ishu Joshi in our group.
Okay.
For the first one question, as you were saying, we too all were disagreeing with this, that yes, it's nothing related with Amavasya.
Yes.
Yeah. And shall I put my views, group views for the second one too, or it's
Yeah,
me?
sure. Please discuss. Then I will share my along with you only.
Yeah.
Wait, 1 minute, Shruti. This is one group already joined and they're sharing their inputs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want
I
to
don't know
hear
where are
other
my
people.
group members.
Yeah. Sunila is sitting there trying to figure out what's going on.
I was
Sunila, you have to
thinking there is
speak.
only one group who is discussing because they couldn't find a room, so I have to wait.
and all the rooms let join back, and then I have to speak. So I was waiting. what
No,
is
no.
it?
So you now speak. You
sorry.
have the floor. Go ahead.
Okay.
Have we
The
not come
first
back to
one-
the main meeting here?
We have come back to the main
Yeah,
meeting,
we
but there are
thought we are
limited
back
people.
on meeting.
There are only 70. So I thought that one
Yes.
group couldn't get a room, and that's why it is happening.
But
Acha, so we have already discussed, Sunila.
Yeah, yes. I have done that.
This is the main.
Okay.
So the
Okay.
first one, even I don't agree that anything of this sort happens.
Happens. True.
So originally the 20 people who were here, Deepti, you
Yeah.
were part of them?
Yes,
Deepti,
ma'am.
Dhawan?
Yes,
So when will you speak? I have to ask individually. Come on, you guys.
No,
I am
actually,
the
she was
part
in
of
my
Sunita's-
group, and we thought that, you know,
Yeah.
once we are asked, either we will put it in the chat or I will speak up. So Dipti ma'am, Charu ma'am, and I don't remember few names.
Namita ma'am was
Namita
there.
ma'am was
Shubhangi
there.
ma'am was there.
Shubhangi ma'am and Apeksha ma'am.
Yeah.
So we believe that ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है कि the mental illness, you know, exaggerates or, you know, goes a level higher on Amavasya nights. No.
So I think each group should quickly share till the other people come. Okay. So was there one moderator that you decided in the group who will share? Yeah,
Yes.
please go ahead. Okay.
Yes.
If you finish,
Hemlata can just share for our group.
Yeah, shall I go ahead?
Yeah.
Yeah. First question, as I don't, Vishnu sir, whether you were there or not when I was sharing, that we together disagree with the first question, that there is nothing related with Amavasya of relation with the mental illness. There is nothing, no relation. And related to the sex education in the school, this question says that it distracts the mind. We disagree with it, that yes, it should be there. It doesn't distract. I'd rather it gives it creates awareness and gives them right ways to do, means whatever they think what is right and wrong, they can understand it better. And third one, we totally agree with it, because yes, astrology is a
Yeah,
science.
Sunila, I will
The
come to
second
that.
one.
Let him let us-
I wanted to speak about second one only, so that then we can everybody move.
Yeah,
to the-
ma'am, please.
Okay, so I agree that rather than corrupting the child's mind, I believe it stops a child's mind from getting corrupted.
Because
Okay.
correct knowledge always helps.
Because I believe if the child is going to get that knowledge from some other means, so you never know whether that means is correct or not. So it doesn't corrupt a child's mind, rather it stops the child minds from getting corrupted and getting the right education. Whatever sense. Because till now I believe that when we talk about that reproduction system in 9th or 10th, children have some, you know, other thing in mind going on. And everything.
Sunila, I heard. I mean, I'm so glad. So I'm looking forward to face-to-face
Yeah, I can
meetings
see.
right now. So let's go to the next groups that may have joined now. Any quickly, please. Next group.
17.
Vishnu, we also have our thoughts about the third point, Vishnu. Shall we share that?
Yeah, please. Akanksha, it is always happy to see you adding more inputs. I love it. Go ahead.
Okay, fine then. Yep, Hemlata. Because, we want to finish with our group first. Go ahead, Hemlata.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, it was just, I was saying that astrology is a complete science which do lots of calculations, and there is nothing like on assumptions or anything. We totally agree with this, that yes, it's a science and it is based on observations of planets and their positions and movements. So this is what is it.
All right, sure. We'll
Next
look at
by
that.
us. Next by 17, group 17, room 17. Anshu ma'am, please.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so we had three statements. The first one, some mental illnesses become more acute on no moon days. So we don't agree on this. So that, some
Go ahead,
mentally,
agreed, disagreed, any reason you want to give, go ahead.
because it is not, scientifically proved or something. So we don't agree.
Which is the
on
one
this.
that we are taking, the third statement.
Okay.
Second-
Mental illness.
Yes,
Second
it
is
talks
mental
about
illness
some mental illness.
becomes more acute on a no moon day.
No, we
I
don't agree to this.
think so. I don't know. I
Mental
mean,
illness is
I'm not
mental
somebody who
illness.
believes in that somehow. But
It's
maybe
mental.
somebody having better understanding could throw some light on it.
Yeah, good. Next.
Okay, the second one
Please,
says
please.
we should
Ma'am,
have.
if we related to astrology, yes, for the people who believe in astrology can go for it. Because of course, if the position of moons and
Not heard, lost somewhere. Can we go to the next group then?
No, Anshuman was speaking, someone was interrupted. Shipra ma'am, please mute yourself because that is...
I've muted everybody. Now whoever wants to speak can unmute.
Yes, so the second statement says that we should not have sex education in school. It corrupts children's mind. So our group says no, we should have, and we should, make children aware of the facts.
It broadens
and
the...
Moreover, even parents, seek the support of the school here, and we should give them the true knowledge about this so that
Yeah,
they
the
should
right
not,
knowledge, so that they can, rather than going to the negative side, they can better turn to the positive side, making them taking care of both the aspects.
And third says astrology is as much of a science as any other. So yes, we believe in that it is a science and it is based on the observation of planets and their position and movement.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Yes,
So I have the right kind of thing to share after this. Okay, so now I want just the group leaders or whoever to just say 1 agree, 2 disagree, 3, whatever it is, just quickly. We have no more discussion, Sunila. Sorry.
Vishnu sir, I simply want to say agree, disagree, no discussion. That has already been done.
Yeah, go ahead, people.
Yes, number 14. First statement, we disagree with that. Second, we disagree. And last statement, a part of it we agree, a part of it we don't agree.
And what is the part you agree with?
Yes, it is scientific in terms that it is based on the calculations of I have to predict when today is full moon. So when is the next full moon? So I can do it on the basis of calculation. So in that way, it is scientific. But if somebody says on the basis of that, I can predict future. So that I don't agree.
This actually I talk
Thank you.
about this.
So what you
No
just
one
said,
can predict future, yes.
Wait. What you just said, who was it earlier?
Mamta Sharma.
Mamta
Sharma.
So Mamta, the first one that you said that I know the cyclic nature of the moon and so on, that's not science, that is simple fact, okay? And we will come to that. What science is necessarily, it has to have the causality, which is cause and effect relationships, okay? So I'm happy that you're saying, yes, that is a fact, but based on that, what people get to, okay? So we look at that. It is very interesting to note that many groups say that the third one is right, okay? That astrology is a science. So we'll look at that. I'm happy that there's going to be a little bit of maramari. Good, go ahead.
Vishnu sir, Arjun here. What she was saying, Mamta was saying, the first part, wasn't it astronomy? How can we call it astrology?
She didn't say astronomy. She said, oh, okay.
Arjun's bringing in clarification here, not allowed in between.
Okay, go ahead. No.
I just wanted to, I got curious about it because the cycle of the...
Yeah.
Switch on your video. The good part is that when you switch on the video, then you come to the first screen.
Okay. Sir, I'm here.
Good.
Okay, so the first part was what we're talking about is astronomy. Sir, I'm logging in from someone else's ID. My ID was not working. So for today, I'm Navneet Kaur. I might not look that beautiful, but I'm trying.
It's so much fun, no, to change your gender even temporarily.
Yes, sir. You get to know both the sides and then you decide which one is right.
You mean which one you would prefer?
Sort of.
I actually like the way art is being integrated in this learning. You will have to speed up a little so that other various teachers who are waiting can also contribute. Yeah.
So, sir, my contribution was this much only. I'm from group 7. We disagree to the first 2 points and we agree to the last point. However, what Mamta was saying, the first point was astronomy rather than astrology. So need more clarification on that.
Yeah, we'll come to that. Okay, now quickly, I think
Vishnu
Sir, group 1, group 1.
Room 9.
Go ahead.
Room
Group
9.
number 21. I'm Ritu Jalotra and I will take further. So actually we took only 1 point and we discussed on it in depth, and that was point number 2. And
we were true disciples of Vishnu Kant. Never follow the timeline.
Yes, so we talked about age appropriate, we talked about scientific learning, we talked about how teachers should be more with the students, that they should come up with whatever and whichever age they are in. If they find anywhere they are stuck, so they should come up and so this is where we were putting up our points, and we have a list of points on that. We work as Vishnu sir do, in detail.
Yeah. Ritu, who were the illustrious members of your group? I want to know that.
Yes, we had Sona ma'am, we had Rachna ma'am, we had I think where is it? Rima was there, and then
I was there. Deepti.
Yes, Vibhu was
I
there.
was also there.
5 of us. Deepti was
Rami
there.
also.
Ma'am was there.
Yes.
And Divya also. Yeah.
So geniuses never followed a timeline. Okay. So just want you to know. But then they also got bashed up pretty badly by the CEOs and CEOs and Mrs. Gakkars and all that. Okay. They got really properly bashed up. So they may have been geniuses, but they were beaten up properly most of the time. Okay, go ahead. The next group.
So group 1. So group 1.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so sir, we did not agree with the first one. Second one was partially agreed, and the third one we did not agree at all, because astrology, what we thought is a belief of people and not related something to science. So we disagreed to it.
Okay, lovely. So now I'm going to request people, the group heads, to put it in the chat. Next 1 minute, write it in the chat. Point 1, agree, disagree. 2, agree, disagree. 3. We don't have time to share because we will miss out on a lot of things. My good friend Ram Kumar has many things to talk to you about. You will get to see me more, but he is a rare person. All right. So I just want to quickly tell you one important, interesting thing, okay? While you're putting it, everybody, while you're writing it, I just want you to know this. This is a very interesting thing. And Arjun, you'll be happy. So after a long time, we have a science called astronomy, which actually is based on the observations and multiple other different kinds of experimentations of planetary bodies that they see. And one great astrologer, astronomer, I'm so sorry. Okay, it's very interesting. They opened his name is Professor Jayant Narlikar. Okay, he's written loads of books. He was one person who got Padma Vibhushan at the age of 26. Okay, that was so early. And he's got so many more. And in Maharashtra, I know there are quite a few people from Maharashtra. There has been a very strong movement against superstition. And a lot of people do that. So Akanksha, are you from there? Kulkarni is from Maharashtra, Karnataka, that side, okay, that area. So they did a lot of work. So there were two people, Professor Dabholkar the, who was killed by the right-wing people. Kulbergi was killed, who was from Karnataka. And then there was this Professor Jayant Narlikar. is a great academician. So they did an experiment. That is what I want to talk to you about. And then we will move on to Dr. Ramkumar. So the experiment that they did was interesting. He collected, so first round, he collected Janma Kundali. What do you call Janma Kundali in English? Horoscope. Okay. Horoscope, Janma Kundali of 100 extraordinary students, bright students, and 100 mentally, retarded or mentally disabled students. Okay. And then they mixed up the kundalis. Unhone mila diya horoscopes ko. And then they called the best astrologers from that area. Okay, Maharashtra, Pune area. And he asked them, okay, these people, Professor Dabholkar and Professor Narlikar asked them, can you separate the two? Who, कौन सी कुंडली extraordinary bright students का है और कौन सा जो mentally disabled है उनका है? And the astrologers failed completely. Okay, so that was first round. Then the second round, he said, चलो ये नहीं बता सकते तो ये बताओ कि just tell whether this person is a male or female, whether this person is dead or alive. Okay, that's a very interesting thing because astrology is supposed to do all that, no? Male, female सबसे पहले बताते हैं, dead, alive बताते हैं कब मरोगे, और तीसरा जो सबसे important हमारे हिंदुस्तानी unmarried male, female के लिए होता है कि शादी होगी कि नहीं होगी और कब होगी. Okay, so the third question was whether this person is married or unmarried. Now, can you believe these are binary questions? Hello? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
These are binary questions. Yes or no, mein answer hoga. Married, unmarried, male, female, and third one kya tha? Married, unmarried, male, female.
Dead, alive.
Dead, alive. Dead. And their accuracy rate was less than 50%. अब आप मुझे ये बताओ 50% तो हो ही जाना चाहिए ना, wrong right में एक को तो होगा ही होगा. So accuracy was less than 50%. Now the interesting part is, so this is just the experiment. What it is showing and what Arjun was saying, and this is many of the groups have said very clearly, yes, astronomy is a science of planets, their movement, etc., etc. Okay. But it gets converted into numbers and people crunch numbers and then they begin to tell you. So मैं एक group में था, बहुत मजेदार discussion हो रहा था और उसमें ये हो रहा था, somebody was saying, I think she said she is a psychologist, okay? Jaspreet, what's your name?
Jaspreet, sir.
Right? I love
Jaspreet.
That how can numbers, okay, tell you your future? Okay, it's just no connection. Your future is determined by how careful you are. Abhi corona mein kitne log mar gaye? It's a very simple. Who knew? Jitne log mare the sabke horoscope mein ye mention tha kya? So the point is that we need to begin to critically examine ki science kya hai, science kya nahi hai. This lab is not about telling you what is right, what is wrong. It's about awakening that questioning कीड़ा in you. Okay, begin to question, is it true? Iska koi evidence to hoga na, agar sahi hai to koi evidence hoga. All right, so with that I am kind of I want to invite Nikhil and Dr. Ramkumar Rao from Bangalore to join us, to come quickly. Just want to request everybody, Ramkumar has quite a few things to share, interesting things. So we have run a little, आप लोग you are used to me, थोड़ा सा time extra हो सकता है. So please don't, yeah, okay, all right. You get the message, right? All of you? Thank you. Okay.
Okay, so inviting Dr. N. Ramkumar Rao. Thank you very much for joining us today. Dr. Ramkumar, it'll be nice to know from you, what would you say is scientific temper?
So wonderful. Thanks, Nikhil. Thanks, Vishnu. And good evening to all the teachers here from Bangalore, but I stay in a place about 70 kilometers from Bangalore. It's Tumkur. So all of you. And one of the very interesting thing I do, I work in an organization called Agastya International Foundation. We work across the country in almost in 22 states, work with underprivileged children, as well as work with, almost reached out to 10,000 teachers, government school teachers. One of the key aspects that we work is in the realm of, the science, especially on creativity, curiosity, especially the questioning, critical thinking skills, and instilling and developing confidence among rural children. This is where I work. Coming back to the very interesting topic, I've been an observer and known Vishnu from almost 2 decades. And when he shared that he's doing some work, I thought readily I agreed. And very happy to listen to all the teachers here. So what I'm going to do is, in the paucity of time, I'm actually making a very brief presentation. In fact, my research was also on how exactly children understand science, especially the process skills, and how exactly they develop scientific attitude. Though I will not be able to talk about all the things, but few things I'll be able to share with you all. So first of all, let me give you a brief thing about how exactly scientific attitude is defined. Is it or scientific temperament, we call this as, how exactly it's looked at? Is it a really new term, or was it there earlier as well in our Indian tradition? So let me share my presentation. Can I request Nikhil to share the presentation? Yeah, this is a very interesting one. I'm sure people would have seen as a WhatsApp message, but there is a part of the WhatsApp message gets shared, but this is a very interesting one by Buddha. In fact, Gautam Buddha, when he was exploring himself in his spiritual path of what he did during ages ago, has so much relevance. So I want you to quietly read. I don't want to, read it. So please, I'll give about 20 seconds. Please read it in silence. Hope you have read. All of you. Have you read this statement?
Yes, sir.
There's a last line that's a very, very powerful one. Just don't believe, don't be dogmatic in your tradition or in your guru or whoever says something, but accept something based on, the reason and the reason which you find it very, very, very relevant. And also a reason which is conducive to the good and benefit of one and all. I think that's a very important, when we talk about this scientific temperament, it is not the self or the selfishness in a sense, it's larger society is also part of it. So in nutshell, it's the overall human beings and the entire society is part of this whole discourse on scientific temperament. Next. Yeah. In fact, the term scientific temperament was first coined by Jawaharlal Nehru. In fact, he was the pioneer in terms of creating many of the institutions that we see in the modern India. And when he wrote The Discovery of India in 1946, in fact, he realized the importance of that scientific temperament. And in fact, he's the one who used the word scientific temperament. In fact, in the temperament, he meant that, in fact, Vishnu, mentioned that it's not a temper in an emotional sense, but temperament in a way of life, in the way we lead ourselves, in the way we question ourselves, the way, we are open to new things, not just be dogmatic. So he made a very wonderful thing. He stated that it is refusal to accept anything without testing and trial. So he brought in that scientific rigor, and just don't be caught up with your previous ideas or previous belief. Instead, basic ideas you have to frame based on evidence and testing. In fact, the scientific temperament is a very interesting term used by the Nehru. Next. So in fact, he was the one who shaped, early part of it, ensured that, in the Constitution of India, this term scientific, temperament is part of that. So it made it into Article 51. It shall be the duty of every Indian citizen to develop scientific temper, humanism, and the spirit of inquiry and reform. So it becomes part of all the citizens of the country to imbibe this value system. Now, how do we imbibe this value system? Why there is so much struggle? When there is so much written in a constitution, that's a question to ponder about. Why is that there is different forms of thought exist in our own frame of work, in the frame of in our relationship, in society, in the society, larger society which we see around. So that's a question, but this is a very important thing to think through. Why scientific temper is there in our Indian Constitution. Next. You can read yourself. It's part of integration of the art and science curriculum. It's there even in our national education policy as well. You can read it. Very important is, somewhere the scientific thinking is related to science, but somewhere we make that misconception that, but it's not. It's related to knowledge as a whole. That's a very important thing.
Yes.
It somewhere in schools it happens, like only science teachers have to display the scientific temper. Other teachers don't have to display. I think that's something which we carry, or something it comes to us. I don't know how, but it happens. But nevertheless, the policy states very clearly, one important thing is rational, analytical, and logical and quantitative thinking in all aspects of the curriculum. That's very important, all aspects of the curriculum. So in the totality of experience a child receives, I think this has to be part of the DNA of the school. Perhaps in the schools that you're all working, can this be a DNA in the school culture, in the way everyone, the stakeholder in the school function? That's a question to think through. Next. This is a very interesting, statement. The quote from Carl Sagan. He was a American, physicist. Especially he worked on astronomy, astrophysicist. Very powerful quote. The quote, in fact, Vishnu was very like the first quote. The absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. It's a very powerful quote. I want you to ponder about that. Okay. Next one is, science is not perfect. It can be misused. It's only a tool, but it's by the best tool we have, self-correcting, ongoing, applicable to everything. One important thing that emerges, science is not perfect, but it's an evolving nature. We say also that the human beings evolve. You evolve, you have a different versions of yourself. You keep on evolving year by year, year by year. But the way of looking at science is very, very important. The self-correcting. So it corrects itself and applicable to everything. Applicable to everything meaning it's applicable to all aspects of human life. Now, scientific temper has to be looked in the context of the society. But then we have one problem. The problem is, as the science is expanding, we have a new frontiers of knowledge, hundreds of things are being explored, millions of documents are published. One interesting thing is, in spite of the advancement of science, scientific temper is coming down. Why is this? It should have, it should have been the other way. When the science is advanced, everybody should have had the, the scientific temper should have been also advanced. But the reverse thing is happening. That's a very tragic part of the contemporary world now. Let's watch a video by Professor Yashpal. So I request Nikhil to play that video. And let's listen to that from Professor Yashpal, what he thinks about. This video is about 10 minutes, but we are going to play for about 3.5 minutes for the time being. So Nikhil, over to you.
Sure. Please, everyone, let me know if you can hear the sound once I play it. I think you will be able to now. Yeah.
Don't worry about it in a positive sense. How come that while science flourishes, scientific temper diminishes? I don't think that by and large most scientists have a great scientific temper, or the most industrialized country amongst its people who are powerful have a scientific temper. Okay? Power is acquired by some people. I think, for example, in the United States, they're amazing people, very tremendously thinking people, philosophic people, kind people, who do anything for others, who well behaved, remarkable. But in terms of powers, whether it's corporations or the government and the way they are elected, that's very different. You can have millions agitate in Europe, in America, everywhere, for example, for the war in Iraq. But all they have to say is, oh, don't worry about it. Once we start fighting and a few of our people die, patriotism will take over and everybody will support. Okay? This has been said. Wow, cynical. Okay? What is happening is a phenomenon that science is, there is tremendous specialization. It's the age of experts. An expert is super specialist in medicine is an expert. He can't diagnose you by touching you or anything else. Similarly, a super specialist in technology of one area or in sciences of one area is a super specialist in area. These super specialists essentially are people who can be called upon and used by others for their ends. Itna bada bomb banao. Make such a big bomb or such kind of a bomb in which buildings are not destroyed but people get killed. It's a challenge. To a super specialist, it's a challenge. And he'll be involved with that challenge. He doesn't care what it will do. Okay? So there is to assume that every super specialist will also worry about the larger aspects of where the world is going. I think it's terrible. So I keep on saying that, heaven's sake, even if you are super specialist, again and again look at long perspectives of science, which you take you really to the very beginning of the universe or beginning of life on the planet, how we came to be, archaeology, how we developed, how we learned to speak, what happened, how we had to be separate because we grew in small groups. This is the long perspective which should really control the values and thinking and really mix with the ecology of the brain all the time, not values which are given to you by lecturing and by posturing and teaching you only about one religion or the other. Beyond all conventional religions, the most important thing are these perspectives. These are the only ones which will give you a scientific temper.
Yeah. Thanks, Nikhil. You can start the presentation. So one of the important thing Professor Yashpal mentioned about having a larger perspective, and that's something we miss out. You know, in the age of super specialization, we tend to go into the very, very limited perspectives and lose the larger meaning of life, the very existence of self, the larger aspect why we have come to this universe at all. So then how do we really conceptualize the scientific temper? In fact, there's a very wonderful book. I don't know how people have seen this book. Maybe it's one of the old publications by UNESCO, where we have a very interesting researcher, Wayne Harlin and Jos Elsguest, have come out with a very beautiful book on how exactly the scientific temper can be brought into schools. In fact, this was a part of my research as well, which I don't want to dwell too much into it for the lack of time. But I have seen in my own research, given the space, given the supportive environment, children are ready to experiment and ready to learn in a culture where the questions are encouraged, where children are ready to experiment and learn new things. So 3 things are very critical according to them, which constitute the concept, which call what we call it as a conceptualization of the scientific temper. So what is that? 1, it's a openness or willingness to collect and use evidence. It's not just believing in whatever it comes to us, but looking at the evidence and then start willing and opening to ourselves. 2nd, willingness to change ideas in the light of new evidence. So being open-minded is not just normally what happens is whenever our mind is created in such a way that whenever someone says contrary to my thought, suddenly I resist, I react. So how exactly I can respond from reactive mind to responding mind is a one attribute of an open-mindedness. Now, being flexible and open-minded, seeing that, oh, there is a different way of learning. Okay, but children are very flexible. In fact, I have seen in my own research, children are flexible to, you have also, I'm sure as teachers, you have seen, children are so flexible in learning. But as adults, somewhere the rigidity comes in terms of our beliefs, in terms of our worldviews. So there's an important thing here, how exactly we could really change our ideas in the light of new evidence. Why should we be rigid to our own old ideas? The final point is, am I ready to reflect and review my own way of looking at things? So these are some of the attributes, or what we call as when to conceptualize scientific temper. These 3 elements are very, very important. Now, how exactly it's related with teachers? Now, it's left to the teachers and administrators to think, are you really using this in your own work life, in your own transaction of curriculum, in your own, in your own families? That's a question. I'm leaving it for your own reflection. Yeah, next. One of the, in fact, Nikhil, you were, in fact, I remember you were asking something about how exactly, some examples we were talking. Do you remember, Nikhil, that?
Yes, the history how of
yes, I'm very happy. We were actually conversing about history of science. There are multiple examples from the history of science, but one which stood out is the very notion of the universe. In fact, this Aristotle view, prevailed for about 1,000 years. Can you believe it? What was that view? He said that Earth is central. Earth is stationary, and all the planets and sun and the fixed, they revolve around the Earth. That was the notion. In spite of having evidences during Aristotle time also that no, Earth is not the central, it revolves around the sun. But Aristotle was in a very powerful position, and he had the influence on the church. which was holding a lot of power equations in the prevailing Greek society. And Aristotle, being a Greek philosopher, influenced a lot of Western thoughts as well. Western philosophies evolved from Aristotle thought. So this thought was so predominant. Even in Copernicus, in the 16th century, challenged Aristotle's view. He made a very powerful statement. We revolve around the sun like any other planet. So suddenly, this created a lot of confusion, lot of, when Galileo also started supporting this, lot of conflicts, fights around. But it took the world more than 100 years to accept this thought that, we revolve around the sun like any other planet. No, for the simple truth, if you can see from the history, takes about hundreds of years to be realized and to be part of our belief system. So where exactly we get closed ourselves? Where exactly when we need to open, how exactly these thoughts influences us? Something is really disturbing. But having known the scientific temper, can we think and question the way the things are around, especially in the age of social media? Just think about that. We'll go to the next slide. Next. This is a very, very powerful example. I think you might be knowing about the, in 1950s and the 60s, that's the Cold War. There was a space war as well. In fact, in 1957, Russia launched the Sputnik into space. In fact, America was really embarrassed, that they never thought Russians would, launch a, satellite into space, and they're heading the race. In fact, Kennedy, who was the president, John F. Kennedy, in fact, he said, no, we must go beyond Russia, and we must, get into the moon. We need to be the first people to land on the moon. This took almost 10 years for the first man to land on the moon. But what is important is, as educationists, lot of changes happened. Because of this larger political push, the entire American education system got revamped. So there is something called science as a process approach, what we call as Institute of Advancement of Science in America was born. And science as a process approach to curriculum reforms were initiated. So if you search the internet on SAPA, SAPA, you get more science as a process approach, and the process skills in the curriculum was started. In fact, based on this, even the UK started Nuffield curriculum. Some of you who might have studied in your own B.Ed and M.Ed master's courses on the Nuffield curriculum. So the important point here is that whenever when you talk about scientific temperament, it is not just happens at the level of our classrooms or the level of individuals. It impacts the science. I mean, it impacts the society as a whole. When education being the part of it also gets impacted. That's the message. Next one.
Right.
Yeah. You want to say something, Vishnu? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. What we could do is to mail these links to the teachers, because we have run out of time. If it is okay with you, may we? Yeah. So what is the next slide that is there? Okay.
Yeah, I'll brief this. I have only 2 slides left.
Yeah, please.
This is a miracle that happened in 1995. I'm sure most of you are read in the newspapers. It's suddenly in 1995, sometime in the 3rd week of September, all the Ganesha idols started, consuming milk. Have you aware of this incident?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a very interesting post, pre-social media. Suddenly the message spread across the India, not just India, even in America, West Indies, European countries, people started reporting that the Ganesh itself has transformed and started consuming the offerings from the devotees. In fact, Vishwa Hindu Parishad, issued an official statement, saying that Ganesh has, incarnated. So the biggest difficulty is many believe this as a truth, and the media also supported. But when the scientists, debunked this and showed that this is it's a mere science, it's just the capillary action and the surface tension, operating. But very few takers for that. No, why is this happens? And remember the first statement: when the science, the knowledge advances, scientific temper diminishes. Can this be an example for that? Think about that. Next one. This is my last slide. This is a very, you might have read this about the Volkswagen emission scandal that happened, in 2015. Being one of the very branded car, millions of customers bought the car, but they discovered that they designed an engine which would cheat the testing procedures. So when exactly the softwares of the engines were so designed so that when the emissions of the gases were tested, it was giving positive results, but actually in reality, the 10 times more emissions were happening by the cars of the Volkswagen vehicles. Now, when this was discovered, the company have accepted and paid billions of dollars as a damage. But the problem is, having known, all that the Clean Air Act, having violating the Clean Air Act, to promote their selfish agenda, people started, manipulating the technology. That is where, Professor Yashpal mentioned the super specialist manipulate things. So this is where I want to end. It is the intention, of a human being that decides how a science needs to be used. Whether you create a bomb to destroy people, or you create, something which for the benefit of the people. This is where I see the educators playing a very, very critical role. And I don't want to talk further. Over to Vishnu now. Thanks, everyone, for patiently listening.
Okay. So we're just going to take a couple of more minutes. I'm sorry, we just this happens. Dr. Ramkumar has a lot of stories to share. I really wish there was he's a good storyteller. You should see him when he works with children and teachers. He's an amazing storyteller. Okay. So there are many things planned, but I'm cutting this all out. And the one thing that we definitely wanted to share or talk about is how does your work, your teaching encourage scientific thinking or scientific temper? Because at the core of it, as teachers, we are responsible. You cannot expect the parents to teach scientific temper to children, okay? Some of them are doing it, sure, we can salute them, but it is our job as teachers to do that. So Nikhil has probably something, some feedback, one little 2 minutes work. Then before you log out, okay, I want you to write down one sentence in terms of how you or your curriculum that you're teaching, you're using, how one specific way that it is encouraging scientific temper in children, okay? A lot of things you do, ask questions, invite children to ask questions. You tell children to, instead of answering, raise questions, a lot of questions, debate in the class. All of these are exercising, things to promote scientific temper, okay? And experimentation, observation, this is all full in the curriculum, but I want to hear one thing from you. So as you log out, before you log out, please write one sentence, either what you do, one thing that you do to promote scientific temper in children, or one thing that your curriculum that you're doing is to. So it's just one and the same thing. आप भी जो करते हो curriculum को भी लेके करते हो, you are the one who is doing it. So teacher is the one who is putting life to the curriculum, right? So one thing that you do, whether on your own or through the curriculum, to promote scientific temper. But don't do that yet. Nikhil has to close it. Over to you, Nikhil.
Thank you very much, Vishnu. I think this was great insight. It'll be nice to know from everybody what they learned. And before even that, I'm curious to know, and everybody can put this in the chat, how many of you actually went to the temple to feed Ganesha? So if you did, just type I did in the chat.
Not me.
There is a difference. There is a difference. We did it. I too did it, but just for the sake of curiosity, that is it really true? So that was the thing.
Yes. Vishnu, one interesting thing is Siddhi Vinayak temple at Mumbai has to put up a board. Our Ganesh don't drink milk. They were so overwhelmed with so much devotees offering milk.
Oh God.
Great. So great, everybody. So here are some questions.
कोई बात नहीं तू मेरा मोबाइल ले लियो.
Okay, mobile de denge. So here are some questions that I'm opening on the slide, and just a quick reflection, and maybe you can all put your answers in the chat based on whatever we've talked about today. Here are some questions for reflection. How did you feel in the groups when you were discussing? Did you actually feel that people were using scientific temper for the discussion, or were you using scientific temper, or you were just agreeing based on power dynamics or giving up? And how do you usually show up in discussions at work and in your family? Do you usually want to prove your point based on the beliefs you have, or do you want to learn something new from every discussion based on scientific temper? And finally, when you listen to people, do you listen to respond, or you listen to understand? Researchers say that 90% of the time people are only listening to respond. So yeah, I think some reflections on this, and you can share some of your thoughts and if you want to make some promises in the chat with us here.
Okay, Nikhil, so you could probably put these questions in the chat box, or do you want to close we need to take some snapshots also.
I think people have already responded. I'm just gonna put Vishnu's last question over here. And I want everyone to respond while having their videos on, so that we can take the screenshot parallelly. The question was, what is the one thing you do to promote scientific temper?
Yeah.
I've just put the question on the chat, everyone. Please respond over here now.
And the video is on so that we can take snapshots for your social media or whatever.
Every time this is disturbing. Hello. I think we encourage. Am I audible? Are we? I mean.
Yes, ma'am. You're audible. Please.
Yeah. I think we encourage the children by giving as many opportunities as possible for them to do experiential learning, to do a lot of experiments in the classroom itself. I mean, starting from the very primary stage, it's not just meant for the senior classes where they have to get engaged in their lab activities, but even in the classroom, they can have these small experiments. So allowing them to be curious, answering them questions, queries, I think encourage them to be on this path to progressive learning. Yeah? Thank you.
मैडम का तो मोबाइल फोन चल पड़ा है उस पे से लॉगिन है.
All right, thank you everybody. My gratitude to all of you for being with us in this space. Special thanks to the leadership for making it happen. And in a time when it has been very difficult to interact with you all, I hope there was something for you to take home to enjoy. Also being here, for me, it has been a joy to be with you all. All right.
Vishnu, may I ask one question, Vishnu? I would
Please.
love to ask Nikhil as to how he did that, grouping and all that. That was something new, Nikhil. I would love to learn that. You want to
Top secret, huh?
No, you cannot. You see, you've opened the Pandora box for me, so you better come out.
No secrets. I think there are a lot of things that we, as
So we
Propel,
want to apply this in our classroom teaching. I think this can do
Absolutely.
wonders.
It was
This can do
fantastic.
wonders. Yeah.
So actually, Zoom has breakout rooms. When you log in as a host, you will be able to see that option, and you can explore that. But Propel also does a lot of sessions in which we share a lot more other tools in which you can make your classes engaging. We'll be happy to discuss all of that sometime soon. But for
Okay,
now,
Vishnu, another session for this, please.
We'll try this out. We'll try this.
See, the good part of this online thing is that nobody has to move out. Okay, you can be at home. So we should do that. Yes, we have been, in fact, Nikhil, and we have been using the breakout rooms like our, when we have these large
Group activities.
Smaller groups, and it works well. Abhi to ye 1.5 ghante mein 200 plus 250 people has been very, otherwise it's very interactive. Okay, I mean, you saw in small groups, 7-8 people discussing. It is so much fun. And you can do that. And the good part, Akanksha, is that as a host, you can enter any group and hear.
Wow. Best part. Best part.
And Vishnu sir, I would like to add on to that it gave me the feeling of the same lab that we used to have in our school.
To copy that.
Yeah. So I was totally very much relating to it, and I was just thinking of the same, that we are in the same lab as we used to have in the school. I was not missing.
So thank you. I want you to tell that I had told Pooja we would do multiple labs. We limit the number to 100 so that it can become a lot more interactive. But Pooja says, no, we have to come together in one go, all of us, because your Dr. Matharu wanted to be there to hear all of you be together with the whole group. So that is how we planned it, the complete thing. Next time we do it, we will have batches of 100 or less, so that there is a lot more. So we'll do a lot more interaction. Yes, very much how to maximize the use of online media, and especially this online platform where you can create. So 2-3 things that are really powerful: the making groups and working and discussion in group. This poll that you did is amazing. Within a fraction of a minute, you get to know what your children are thinking, and you can know who has answered what. Okay, so it's not that it's blank. Aapko, Akanksha, you will get to know ki kaun se bacche ne kya jawab diya. So that is the interesting part. So all of it is possible. And then there, of course, the video, audios, children doing things. There's a whole lot of things. Yeah. So thank you, everybody. Take care. Sorry about the delay, but don't be surprised. That is part of.
Yeah.
I love Ruhi's giggle, so she knows. All right.
Great. So,
but don't log out until you have written what you do to promote scientific temper in your children.
I think most of them have written. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Thank you, Nikhil.
This is one announcement. Quickly. One announcement, please stay on.
This is the next experiential webinar that we're having on 30th of January. This is on concept mapping. We'll be circulating the flyer for it. In case you are interested, looking forward to it, then it's a 3-hour webinar on a Saturday. Okay?
Okay.
All right, everyone. Look forward to seeing you again. Bye.
Great. Thank you very much, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye, Vishnu.